Hey folks, Revolutionary Brewer here, and today we're going to do something a little bit different than usual. I'm actually going to do a little film of me brewing a beer. I've done a lot of beer reviews over the years, but I'm going to actually show you how I make my beer, and this is the easiest way that I know how to make it. It's quick, it's cost effective, and it makes delicious beer. So what we're going to do today is we're actually going to brew a Cooper's kit. What else? We got the Thomas Cooper's wheat beer. It's a delicious, nice, fresh beer for the summer. I haven't seen these around in a long time, so I'm excited to get it. What we're going to add to this beer is a little mixture I get at the local brew store called the Noble Grape. It's called Beer. Basically, it's 1.5 pounds of liquid sugar, liquid high malt glucose, 1.5 pounds of light malt extract, and on the top there's some hop pellets sprinkled on, about ½ ounce of hops just to give it a little bit of extra flavor if you want to boil them in. And I'm also going to use the yeast packet that came under the cap, but I'm going to make a slight modification. I'm actually going to go ahead and add an extra packet of yeast that I picked up for $2. It's also Cooper's yeast. And finally, we're going to the only extra equipment we really need is a nice stock pot. This one holds about 8 liters. It's just a standard size big stock pot or soup pot. You can get them anywhere. So let's go on over to the stove and I'll show you exactly how I do this. Alright folks, so here we are at the stove. We're prepared to go. What I have here, I have my mixture of malt and sugar with the hops on top. And I got about 2 liters of water that's starting to boil in my pot here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the pot off the heat so I don't scorch any of the malt on the bottom. Move it over to the burner next to the heated burner. And then I'm just going to take my mixture of the malt, sugar, and hops and add it right into the water. And you just want to stir it right away into the hot water, because it's going to be, the water's still going to be hot, so it's going to dissolve really easy. But you want to stir it up good so none of it scorches. And again, that's about 2 liters of water I have in here, just enough to dissolve it and give it a good boil. So once it's all in, I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the hot burner. I'm going to go ahead and I'll bring this back to a boil. And once it starts boiling, I'm going to let the hops and sugar and malt, I'm going to let it boil for roughly 10 minutes. What will happen is that the hops will impart a little bit of flavor into the mixture that we have here. Just add a little extra hop flavor to our beer. A wheat beer is a very light beer anyways. So all I want to do is just add a little tiny bit of flavor, and this ½ ounce of hops will do just that. So I'll go ahead and get these boiling again, and once the boil is up, we'll meet you back in the kitchen to show you the next step. Alright folks, so what's happening now, our mixture is boiled for 10 minutes. Our hops, our malt, and our sugar, it's boiled in a 2 liter of water, and it's been at a rolling boil for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to take this, I'm just going to go ahead and take this mixture that's boiled. It just finished boiling, and I'm going to dump it right into fermenter. I just have the fermenter on a chair so you guys can see it. I don't have a tripod for my camera, so this is my first attempt doing anything like this, so it's a little bit amateurish, I know, but hey, I think you guys will get the idea. Alright, so there's the mixture. I'm just going to go ahead and stir that up. It's really hot. It's just the, like I said, it's the malt extract, the liquid glucose, and the hops boiled for 10 minutes just to give a little bit of extra hop flavor. So now what I've done, I've gone ahead and just opened up my Cooper's can, and this Cooper's is just going to go right from the can into your fermenter, straight in. Doesn't have to be boiled, heated up, anything at all. It's all ready to go. And this nice hot nice hot mixture will make it easy to dissolve. So you just want to scrape everything out, get as much out as you can. And what I also do is I rinse the can in hot water and give it a good stir, and that gets out any extract that's stuck to the sides. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to bore you with the details of rinsing my can out, but what I'm going to do is add some cold water. I got some refrigerated water here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to top it up to the 19-liter mark, and I'm going to make sure that the temperature is roughly around 70 degrees or 19 or 20 Celsius. So you're looking at about 70 Fahrenheit is your ideal pitching temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and finish emptying this out. I'm going to top it up, and we'll get back to wrap up. All right, folks, so everything's mixed together in the bucket, and as hard as it is to believe, we're almost done. That's all there is to it. All we have to do now is just pitch our brewing yeast. So this is the way I do it. There's a lot of different ways. Some people rehydrate it. I don't do that. I have done it a couple times, and the results were not that great. What I like to do is I just make sure I pitch enough yeast, and this is 2 7-gram packets, 14 grams. That's more than enough for this particular brew. So in my opinion, this doesn't need to be rehydrated. If you do rehydrate it, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Whichever way works for you, I would just stick to it. For me, I do it this way. I take the first packet and I just sprinkle it on. And for this packet here, what I'll do is I'll just give it a little stir to kind of get that stirred in a bit. And that'll be it for my spoon. Oh, just a little bit left in the pack. And for the second pack, I'll go ahead and do the same thing. Just snip the corner open and gently sprinkle it on top. And there we go, that's it. That's all there is to it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to take the top of our fermenter, the cover, snap the lid on. Making this look a little more tough than it actually is. So we just snap our lid on like that. And we do need an airlock, okay? So we just take your airlock, fill it up with a little bit of water, and just push it right in there. And now what I do is, because it's summertime, and this is actually a little bit warm, the temperature in there right now is about 74 degrees, which is a little warmer than I want it, but I really couldn't do anything about it. So I'm going to take this bucket and I'm going to put it in a Tupperware container. I'll go ahead and show you. So I'm just going to take this, and I'll grab the camera. So I went ahead and just put it in one of these big old Tupperware containers. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water to the bottom so it's up a few inches high. And I'm going to add frozen Coca-Cola bottles, plastic bottles. And I'll just keep swapping them out to keep the water cold and to keep the fermenter cool. That way I can keep our fermenting to about 70 degrees or so. Alright folks, well that's all there is to it. I hope that gave you a little insight of how I make my beer. Like I said, that's the easiest method. It's very quick, very easy, very cost effective, and it makes tremendous beer. The only other thing I wanted to add is before I started brewing, I made sure all my equipment was clean and I sanitized it all. This is essential to brewing good beer. That's the number one thing that you can't let slide. You have to make sure that your equipment is always clean, free of any debris, anything like that. and then it also has to be sanitized. If you want to see how that's done, just take a look on YouTube. Lots of great videos out there how to effectively clean and properly sanitize your equipment. So what I'll do is once this Cooper's Wheat Beer I'll go ahead and do a review on it, and I'm sure it's going to turn out great, but we'll wait and see and follow up with that. Again, this is my first attempt to do a video like this, so I apologize in advance. It's going to be a little bit choppy, but maybe I'll do a few more in the future. Had a lot of fun doing it. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions on the process or anything brewing related, you can just leave a comment or message me anytime. I reply to everybody. So anyways, thanks again for tuning in. Keep on brewing, and cheers.